Hey buddies, SomeNutzGuy here. Hope you're having an awesome day so far. In this video, we are going to teach you guys all about the skill level up priority and about a lot of the different key items that require specific levels to achieve and what part of the game that you might want to have reached those by. I'm also at the very end going to talk a little bit about a mentality switch with regards to hardcore versus normal sort of survival as well. Just a slight mentality switch for various reasons. Very quickly, we're going to go through these. Now, the chain chestplate defense 4, Deathworm, which is really nice for defense 6, Iron for defense 8, Neptunium for defense 10. If you somehow get Neptunium chestplate before defense 10, that's fantastic because it's really, really strong. Myrmex defense 12 is also very strong, just lacking the locational armor toughness compared to Diamond, which is defense 16, Tide Guardian for defense 20, and Dragon Scale for defense 24. In terms of the early game, I would usually get my iron chestplate. I want to get to iron armor as quickly as possible. So usually defense 8 is going to be one of the very first things I get. However, in the early, like literally I load into a world and I start getting my first few levels, I will hold on to those levels. And there's a few reasons why. I'm going to skip a couple of steps here to explain this element. So we've got seeds and carrots, which are farming 2 and 4. If you find a village, you can farm the seeds and carrots and get experience from that. So you might want to then put farming 2 or 4 very early if you find an early village and can get a few levels from the farming that's there. If you've made yourself, say, a stone pickaxe, you don't have any armor or weapons yet, and you've got, say, 4 or 5 levels, you might want to get your mining up to level 4 if you find an overworld iron node. You know, the iron nodes, they're like sort of andesite chunks. It's got 21 iron ore within that, and if you run across that before you've managed to get any weapons or armor, you might want to crank your mining up to level 4 to use your stone pickaxe and mine out that iron. So what I'm saying, guys, is the early game, don't necessarily bank your levels straight away. You might want to hold on to them for just a few minutes to see if you might run into a circumstance that you might want to utilize. As an example, you know, gathering, you might find a spot with a load of wool. You might find something that with a load of wool that you want to harvest. Wool can be traded with fletchers and fishermen for lots of experience because you could craft it down to string. So you might want to use shears. You may have ended up with a couple of iron. You might want to use shears, get your gatherings level 2. Long story short, very, very early game. Hold on to a few of your levels and just see where you might want to use them as an example. So that's a little bit of a mentality thinking about with regards to the early game. But defense level 8 is one of the earliest things I will get and I will go for because I want to get that iron armor ASAP. Attack is also something that I'm going to get up quite quickly. However, I'm less concerned about leveling up attack than I am defense. I am happy to sit with a stone spear and a stone shield. Well, actually, if I get my defense up, I can get an iron shield. So I'm happy to sit with a stone spear, an iron shield, and an iron chestplate quite comfortably early game, and I can do some of the, you know, lower levels of battle towers or, you know, a few little things like that. So yeah, definitely want to focus the armor level, defense level 8, and then get the attack level 8, probably up to the same level quite quickly. Agility level 2 is required for a bow. Attack 8 and agility 6 for an iron strengthened bow. I never really use iron. I usually go straight from a bow to the diamond strengthened crossbow and the diamond strengthened longbow. And that's 16 attack and 8 agility and 16 attack and 12 agility. So definitely later on stages in the game, this diamond strengthened crossbow is usually the weapon that I'll use to kill my first few dragons. It's extremely good at killing dragons at range without without getting aggroed and in danger. So this getting your attack 16 and your agility to 8 is definitely a core sort of milestone as you're about to start fighting dragons. And you can see there 24 attack and 18 agility for the final dragonbone and flamed versions of those. Magic is something that you'll need to consider leveling a little bit early as well for use of healing. So there's some heals that require like Magic 4, Magic 6, Magic 8, Magic 12. This is sort of more later mid-game healing, of course. Then you've got your enchanting table, which also requires 12, and your disenchantment table, which requires Magic 24. Quite substantial. So, once you get to the point where you're maybe 4, 5, 6, 7 hours in, you've got some diamond armor, you want to make sure you're getting your magic up to level 12 so you can start to then do some enchants on your diamond armor that you've gotten. So about the 5 hour mark, you're going to want to make sure you've got your magic level 12. Now, farming, guys. Farming is really, really key because it allows you to make wine, which, as I put in my video, is absolutely OP. So farming level 18 is what you want to aim for when you're really starting to consider doing, I mean, maybe even the nether. I mean, I go to the nether without wine and whatnot because it's not that bad if you play it safe. But once you start going to the lost cities or you start doing the end game bosses, wine is going to be a key factor. So again, farming level 18 as you're starting to head towards the sort of end, the late mid game or the end game. And finally, the other things that I want to talk about with regards to leveling your skills is building. So you've got your, if you ever want to do anything to do with redstone at all, that's going to require building level 4. Carpentry Bench, and I really like the Carpentry Bench because it literally just allows you to build these crates. I don't know anything else to build with it. I just build these crates. But these crates are a 1x1 that give you a double chest space. They're really, really nice for storage. However, they do burn. So if you are in a place that can end up getting burn damage for whatever reason, just bear in mind that these can burn. The Anvil requires building level 12. So if you ever start wanting to do manual enchant adding through books, or adding belt pouches to your tool belt, anything that an anvil can be used for, you're going to need to get your building level 12. So again, around the sort of 5-hour mark, when you're starting to get your diamond armor, maybe you've got a few enchanted books. You want to put those enchanted books on your diamond armor. So around the 5-hour mark, you want to be aiming for your building level 12 and your magic level 12 so you can do that enhancements to your gear and weapons. The equipment forge as well, if you end up getting like a Lycanite weapon, like a Geonox spear or Geonox fist, a Lycanite tool part, Lycanite tool, Geonox spear, Geonox fist, Vapula, whatever the case may be, you can then start to use the equipment forges at 12, 18, and 24 for the final level 3 one to use your Lycanite tools to the equipment forge. In terms of hardcore, the difference between hardcore's mentality and survival's mentality, or regular mentality, is because in survival, death happens a lot, right? You're playing a little bit less careful. You're expecting to die a fair amount, so you really want to, if you get to like 12 levels, you're like, you know what? I don't think I may die. I may die at some point in the near future before I spend these levels, before I know specifically what I want to spend these levels on. So let me spend my levels, bank them as it's survival, bank the levels, because if I die, I'll lose that experience. But in hardcore, obviously, you can't do that. You can't die and lose your experience because you die and lose the entire world. So with the hardcore mentality, I wouldn't bother spending your levels. I really wouldn't bother spending your levels early game until you have something specific to spend them for. So I get, I jump into a hardcore world. I get 8 levels of experience, 5 levels, 6 levels of experience. You make sure you customize at level 5 always, of course. And then I will hold them. I will hold them unless, say, I find some chainmail armor. If I find some chainmail armor, then I'll just crank my defense up to level 4, slap on the chainmail armor, leave the other 5 or 6 levels that I have there. Because then maybe if I find myself an iron sword, or an iron spear or iron weapon before I find iron armor, I might want to crank my attack up faster. Or if I found, an iron node, one of the ones that I was talking about, the andesite nodes with the 21 iron ore in it, I may want to crank my mining up to 4 before I crank something else up. Long story short, in a hardcore, you're not going to die and lose your levels, because if you die and lose your whole world. So hold on to your levels until you actually have something to use them for, because there's been times when I've, say, found a nice bow that I wanted to use, or I found something that I wanted to use, and I had the levels perfectly ready to just level up and use it. But if I had banked them like I would normally do in a normal playthrough, I wouldn't have them, and I'd have to then go out and farm some levels to be able to use the thing I had just found. If that makes sense. Hopefully this video has been helpful for you, some of you guys. A little bit of rambling. I mean, some of it's very circumstantial. It's not a set in stone, level up this, level up this, level up this. I just wanted to talk about the certain milestones in terms of the armor and weapons and various things that you might want to craft, etc. And then sort of the mentality towards utilizing the levels to the best effectiveness. Anyway, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more, consider subscribing. I go live on my Twitch channel pretty much every day except Monday and Friday I take for editing. Usually. I also run my RLCraft server from my Twitch channel, so if you want to join our RLCraft SMP server, you'd be welcome to do so. You have to jump on the Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/SomeNutzGuy, earn 3,000 channel points, redeem the whitelist through the channel point redemptions, and then you'll be able to join us. Alrighty guys, hope you have an awesome rest of your day. Take care.